Viewers, welcome to the talk show Promise Bangladesh, sponsored by Crown Cement. And this is Sinha Sayeed anchoring this very talk show. Today our topics is very important indeed from our national perspective. That is restoring normalcy in public life. Viewers, you know very well the center in quota in Bangladesh. So many things are going on even at this very moment. And to make the issue more markedly interesting to all, we have invited two very important guests. One is Mr. Sheikh Shahidul Islam, former minister in the Ershad administration and now Secretary General of JP. How are you, Mr. Shahidul?
Thank you very much for inviting me in this important session. And
other being Mr. Humayun Kabir, former ambassador, and he is an authority on global relations, politics and diplomacy. How are you, Mr. Humayun Kabir?
Thank you very much. I'm fine. Thank you for the invitation.
Mr. Sheikh Shahidul Islam, we know very well that centering quota, a kind of instability has been created in Bangladesh, and so many things are going on in the social world as well as in the administration. And Hasina administration trying its level best to put everything under control. What are your analysis as a whole?
Thank you very much for this discussion, which is a burning question for the present moment. Restoration of normalcy means the country have something abnormal. So we will have to restore it. We will have to go back to normal civic life. Now, you know, in our country is in the grip of curfew, and army has been deployed, and there are signs of normalcy returning back. But one thing I can tell you, that the situation which is now existing in Bangladesh, nobody expected it. We all expected that the demands of any group will be solved through discussion. We are in a democratic system, democratic polity. Violence is, and there is no place of violence. And in democratic policy, state, the policy is to discuss things with the stakeholders and then settle it through amicable discussion. I do not know how this thing turned so bad this year. Before I think 4 years, there was the same issue of quota, and the Prime Minister solved it, unilaterally declaring that there will be no quota in these two categories of services. This year, some people, they went to the High Court, they claim themselves to be heir apparents of freedom fighters, and there was a writ petition filed, and the court said that the circular which the government issued withdrawing the quotas are void. So the government filed an appeal before the appellate division, and the appellate division, what they did, appellate division suspended the judgment of the High Court division. So naturally the quota, no quota system has been restored. But still, the agitating non-quota movement people, they were agitating, and they had some other demands. When the main demands are met, it was not at all difficult to discuss with them and settle their other issues. And the quota movement leaders, they also, what I should say, demonstrated a immaturity of their leadership. So they lost their leadership, the quota movement leaders, and it was taken over by some other groups. And these some other groups, they have done some massacre in such a way in some institutions. It is very heartbreaking for every Bangladeshi. So what I can tell you, that to bring back normalcy, three things must be solved with priority. First thing is, the quota issue should be solved through mutual discussion with the stakeholders. It must be settled and it must be given some sort of institutional shape, like they are saying in enacting a law. Okay, there are so many laws in the country, thousands, hundreds of laws. There will be another law. Though law is not required, but still when they are demanding, there can be a law, number one. Number two, curfew and army, both must go. And to create that situation, we must restore normalcy in the public life. When army in curfew, whatever some people may say, but they have these both elements, it has contributed to restore this peaceful atmosphere which is now existing.
And thank you very much. I will come to you again, Mr. Sheikh Shahidul Islam. Mr. Humayun Kabir, what are your responses to these speeches given by Mr. Sheikh Shahidul Islam?
Oh, thank you, thank you. I think Shahid Bhai has rightly laid out the context, and now he has also given some ideas about how this issue can be resolved, or so that the normalcy can be restored. Here I think what Shahid Bhai said, I fully agree with him, is that just to give a sense of confidence to the students, a law can be enacted if required, even if it is redundant. I think there is nothing wrong in that, although this could be done by the as an administrative measure. But since it will give a kind of confidence to the youngsters or young generation, that yes, there is this has come as a permanent measure. So that would be helpful, just to give them some, I would say, consolation, confidence, and so on and so forth. But I think we must also appreciate the fact that these youngsters, I mean, what they are demanding is not only quota alone. I think they have a deeper uncertainty within themselves. That's my understanding, because they are thinking about their future. We know that even when they are coming out of the universities, jobs are not growing. Jobs not growing means, we know for the last almost 7-8 years there is no private investment in the country. So when there is no private investment, jobs are not created, employment is not created. So there is a shortage of employment opportunities in the country. The only employment source is the government employment, that is through BCS and through other kinds of government managed employment opportunities. Another issue that has now come, I think quota issue is more or less settled for the time being, because the government, the Supreme Court has given directives, they have given their, I would say, ruling, and then based on that, government has already issued 93% of quota would be on merit, and then 7% would be distributed among different disadvantaged groups. So that is almost gone. But now the new issue has unfortunately emerged, as Shahid Bhai has just mentioned. Number one is, we know the kind of deaths that has taken place now. I mean, this is we have not seen that kind of situation in Bangladesh, even since independence. We are familiar with the student movement, agitation, but this time what has happened is unique negatively. So we have to understand, appreciate how it is affecting the whole, not only the student community, but also the general public. I'll give you 2 examples why I'm raising that issue. Out of the 150, what the Home Minister has said that 150 died, out of that 150, 45 were students. And the rest were basically rickshaw pullers, shopkeepers, other kinds of day laborers and stuff like that. So what does it mean? And only a small fragment of that was a political activist. Only according to the newspaper reports. So it indicates that it was the student movement was supported by other segments of population, and mostly those who are suffering economically. And that also gives an insight into what dynamic, what process actually mobilized all these groups and led to so many deaths, for example. Today there is a report again in a newspaper of the people arrested in Dhaka. 87% of them are non-political. That they have no political affiliation, no party affiliation. What does it indicate? That the common people are getting involved in this process. So we have to seriously think about that, because that gives you an understanding about the kind of people who are affected by the existing situation now or prevailing situation. So we have to, this is a part of the problem. Now if you want to solve it, then we have to accordingly take initiative. And here I would say that a lot of people have been arrested these days, within the last few days. Lot of deaths have taken place. So an impartial investigation into all those deaths is an urgent thing. And yesterday I think it was heartening to see even the Honorable Prime Minister said that she is ready to accept the international technical support for the investigation. I think that's a good idea. That would give some, I would say, credibility to the investigation. So the investigation should be done quickly, and whoever is responsible, they should be brought into account. That's what I feel, because whoever has done it, the deaths have taken place, and some account for them should be done. Should be seen who is responsible, under what circumstances those deaths have taken place. So that's another thing, that the sooner we do it, the quicker restoration of normalcy would be easier to achieve. The third thing I would say that, the Sheikh has said already, I fully agree with him, that the army or the armed forces should be returned to the cantonment, the curfew should be withdrawn, normal activities or chores of life should be restored. For example, one may think about opening up the universities and gradually helping life to return to normal pace. Only then, things would come. And another thing, I think, since here the young generation is involved, I think government might also seriously think about withdrawing cases against the students, for example, because the government itself is saying that students are not involved in destructive activities. So if that is the case, then let them go back home, and so that their families, themselves, and the overall student community as a whole might feel that, well, they are not being persecuted.
Thank you very much, Mr. Humayun Kabir, and thank you very much, Mr. Sheikh Sayeed. It is a time to go for a short break. Viewers who are going for a short break, please stay watching. Viewers, we are back to the talk show Promising Bangladesh, sponsored by Crown Cement. And this is Sinha, Sayeed, anchoring this very talk show. And we are having talks with Mr. Sheikh Shahidul Islam, former Minister and Secretary General of JP, and Mr. Humayun Kabir, former Ambassador and an authority on in global politics, relations and diplomacy. Mr. Sheikh Shahidul Islam, government has taken so many initiatives to make the life easy and to restore everything to normalcy. As a former minister, Secretary General of a political party, what is your understanding?
Thank you very much. Government has taken some actions to restore normalcy, to bring back peace in the mind of the people, and to ensure safety of the public. But I think these measures which have been taken, these measures were taken in the face of a movement that took place inside different educational institutions. Now, I can prioritize things as a former minister, what should be done. The thing is, first thing they should do is to immediately start the HSC examination, which is suspended halfway, in the midway. HSC examinee and their guardians, there will be few millions. They are now passing days through tension and uncertainty. So the examination should be immediately, they should start this exam, resume the examinations, and it will create a sense of normalcy in the educational institution, because here the students are also involved. Then they should open the primary and the secondary schools. If they open the primary and secondary schools, they will start the academic atmosphere, and these people are not going to participate in any movement or something. Within this period, they can negotiate with the students and the students' different demands, which they can discuss things with them and settle it. And then they can open college and gradually the universities. The government, if they don't enjoy the confidence of the people, they cannot rule the country. And the country cannot make the progress. So, restoration of confidence, it is very important in the administration. Moreover, what I believe, that the student community, they are the main stakeholders in this movement. Discussion must be made with them, and through discussion a settlement must be reached, because this settlement, which is brokered by this DB chief, this is not fair. They previously discussed with ministers, and now they said, the DB chief said, after discussing with him, everything settled. No. And that's why there has been fresh outbreak of this violence in different educational institutions very recently, today. And so I think politics is a thing which should be dealt by politicians, and the Prime Minister entrusted a couple of ministers to deal with the things. They should deal with the thing. So what I think, for the restoration of normalcy, restoration of peace and threat against peace, it must be resolved once for all. That is very, I think, is the top priority.
Thank you very much. I will come to you again. Ambassador Humayun Kabir, what is your overall realization going on, especially about the initiatives taken by the government?
Well, I think let me take the cue from what Shahid has said, that confidence on the government by the people is a very important ingredient in governance. My sense is that because of variety of reasons, particularly the younger generation is losing their trust on the ability or intention of the institutions to deliver. So that trust has to be restored, and that there I think behind that, or in order to do that, I mean some morality in governance is also to be, I would say, instilled. Because if the governance become without morality, then it's no attraction for the younger generation. We have to understand that younger generation is always idealistic in their view of life. Shahid bhai, myself, we belong to the same generation. We did all this agitation during the late 70s, late 60s and early 70s. We had the same deal. I mean, whenever we saw that the state or the government is not delivering and they are playing games with us, then we didn't hesitate to come down to the street, agitated, and put forward our demand either peacefully or otherwise. So we have to understand that the young generation of today has the same feeling, same idealism in them. That's the nature of youth. So governance is basically a consultative process, and that consultation process or consultative process has to be also restored, because not only here, I had the opportunity to move around the country, and I can tell you, I have heard from different segments of population and different, even the political leaders and activists, there is no consultative mechanism. So if the decision making is not consultative, then people feel I am not a part of it. When I am not a part of it, I feel alienated, and that alienation can create a vacuum, and within that vacuum can bring in challenges in governance. So we have seen that. So I would rather see that we must think slightly differently, the way we have been thinking. And sometimes people would say, this young generation, they become so depoliticized, they become so sucked up into TikTok and other stuff, they are not serious. The young generation has proven much more resilient, much more forward-looking than some of us. So I would say that please have some faith on the younger generation. This country in 1971 or from mid-60s to 71 was steered by, it was definitely done by the political leadership, but the real, I would say, real groundwork was done by 3 million people sacrificed their lives. Who are these 3 million people? Most of them are young people of this country. So young people shed their lives for our independence. And this generation also will build up our future, this country in the future. So have some respect on them and listen to what they have got to say. And then based on their, because future is there, whatever institutions, whatever projects, whatever infrastructure we are developing, they will have to pay for it. The younger generation will pay. It's not our generation, we are a passing generation. So they will have to pay the price for that. And so keep trust on them. They will manage it things, and their management would be much better than us because their future would be better. And that's our hope, that's our aspiration.
Thank you very much. I'll come to you. Mr. Sheikh Shahidul Islam.
Yeah.
We have seen that lot of requests and responses coming from outside the country, Bangladesh, because as a member of the global village, we cannot ignore all these things, especially America, European Union, United Nations, even China and India. What is your study on it?
I tell you, first I thank Humayun Kabir for his deliberations, wise deliberations. 3 things is very important to restore confidence of the people in the administration, and these will also restore confidence of the people outside Bangladesh. The first of all, as he told, participation of people in decision making process. This is very important, and this can be achieved through consultative process. So, the participation of people in different levels in decision making, this is very important. And I think through that process, we can proceed towards that direction by which people will feel that they are part of the decision making process, and so it is also their duty to implement it in a nice way, so that government can implement it in the way it has been foreseen. Second thing is morality. This is very important aspect. Morality, I think this is the most important thing in life, which is now in decay in our society. It must be restored. Public leader without morality, public servant without morality, and the different stories which are coming out in newspapers in different way. This is very important. We have to bring back morality among public leaders and also among public servants. Otherwise, the confidence of the people will not be there. If they go to pay taxes, people are going to pay taxes in the taxes office, and they are not accepting the taxes until and unless you bribe them. Even a Tahsildar who takes this land revenue, people are going there to pay their land revenue and also to accept that land revenue, you have to bribe the Tahsildar. This is not acceptable situation. So, what we should do, we must bring back morality, punish the culprit. There should be some exemplary punishment, and that will be deterrent to reduce it. I don't think it will go away altogether, but the thing is, it should be under a sizable portion. Thirdly, the integrity of the public leaders. This is very important because they lead the people. What Plato said the state is a political organ, and the people who will rule it must be politicians. So, the public leaders, their integrity, this is very important. If you see our past history, Bangabandhu had a cabinet, and after his fall, about a dozen of their leaders were arrested, and a thorough inquiry for a couple of years were done, but no cases of corruption were found against them. Sayyid Nazrul Islam, Tajuddin Ahmed, Mansur Ali, even Abdul Samad Azad and so many people. So, there was no
thank you very much, Mr. Sheikh Shahidul Islam. I will come to you again. Viewers, we are going for a short break and come to you very soon. Please keep watching. Welcome to the talk show Promising Bangladesh, sponsored by Crown Cement. Viewers, we are having talks with two giant speakers. One is Mr. Sheikh Shahidul Islam, another Ambassador Humayun Kabir. And now we turn to American politics. Mr. Humayun Kabir, you are a career diplomat and once upon a time you had been to America as ambassador. The elections, presidential elections very soon, maybe I think on November 5th, 2004. Kamala Harris, a new figure in American politics after Hillary Clinton. What is your overall focus on Kamala Harris as a candidate against Trump?
Well, thank you. Thank you very much. But I think just to add, Kamala Harris is not a new person in the American political system. She was Attorney General in California. She became the US Senator in 2017, and then she became the Vice President. So she has been in the circuit for quite some time. The excitement that has been created because now she is the presumptive nominee from the Democratic Party for the post of the president. That's why the excitement has started. And she is possibly the first women presidential candidate. Hillary was there, Hillary Clinton was there earlier. But it looks like that since the Democratic Party is now almost coalescing around her, and next month in Chicago convention, it's likely, most likely, that the whole Democratic Party will endorse her as the Democratic Party candidate. Up until last week, when President Biden didn't announce his decision not to run for the post of the president next time, up until that point, former President Trump was on the rise for two reasons. One was he was short, and that created a lot of public sympathy for him. And then there was in Milwaukee Republican convention. So there is a tradition, and after the convention, the party candidate gets they call it bump, meaning that their popularity or their support goes up. So all these things are there, and now her strong position on abortion, for example, or for women's rights, that is likely to bring the women voters around her. And already there is some indication that they are coming around, and she is putting her focus or light on this issue. The second thing is, Kamala Harris is, a few days back, she met Prime Minister Netanyahu, and she made some comments which were at variance with what President Biden has been doing. It means that she is now already getting or gathering support of the younger generations who are disaffected with President Biden's policy on Gaza. So she is getting them back again into her fold. And the third is she is non-white. So it means that she will gather non-white votes of three categories: African Americans, Hispanics, and Asian groups, and also the Muslims. So that means that she is getting the coalition-wise, those who are big coalitions with their vote banks, they are generally supporting or gathering around Kamala Harris. So that is creating a, I would say, promising scenario. But again, election is election. So Republican Party is, they are targeting Kamala Harris in a very nasty way. They are already saying she doesn't have a child, so what she will understand about the family. And I'm sure that as the process goes forward, they will talk about that she is not an American. Her nationality would be raised and so on and so forth. Color would be an issue. But I think on balance, as of now, it looks like that she's gathering better support than what President Biden had done. But Democratic Party has still some work to do, because the convention is coming. They should show that they are united for her, and then they must also face the Republican negative campaigns, negative pressure that is likely to come. I would say quite nasty, because President Trump, former President Trump, he can say anything and everything. For him, nothing. There is no bar. So they should get ready for that. But as of now, it looks like that Kamala Harris could give a good shot at the presidency during the next election.
Thank you very much. Mr. Sheikh Shahidul Islam, in the politics of Bangladesh, you are known as a very knowledgeable, educated and sophisticated political personality. And you are very much aware of American politics. Indeed, what is your understanding about election in America?
You know, the election of President of United States of America, though it is an internal affairs of America, United States, USA, but it affects the global politics and it affects the politics of every country in the world. Because not only for military power, but also for policy support and other things, the role of United States in global arena is very important. Because United States heads the World Bank, United States this NATO, they have very good relationship with Polynesian countries like Australia, New Zealand and others, and also the North American and Latin American countries, excepting a few, they are all dependent on American policy support. So, it is very important for United States presidential election for not only for United States only, but also for the whole of the world. So, what I think, it will be a tough fight and it will not be easy for anyone to win until unless he can convince the people of United States that he or she is able to lead the nation.
Then do you think that Kamala Harris, as a female candidate, she is in a position to face the people, especially Republican Party and their followers, in a better mood and mode than Hillary Clinton?
I don't think so. Hillary Clinton had the advantage because her husband was a president. She had that advantage. She herself was Secretary of State. But here Kamala Harris is a Vice President of the United States. And for the first time, the president, the sitting president has withdrawn from the presidential race. And so, this peculiar situation never appeared in the United States. So, it is very difficult to say definitely that this will happen. We can only guess, we can only assume, we can only predict, but those predictions, assumptions may not be correct.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Humayun Kabir. Just 1 minute.
Well, just to again taking cue from what Sayeed has said, this happened once during our lifetime. 1968, President Johnson, US President Johnson, against the background of Vietnam War, he was under so much of pressure and protest, he decided, he was a sitting president, like President Biden, he decided that he would not run for presidency. So, after almost 50 years, the same history is repeating, and 2 wars, this Gaza war, at that time it was the Vietnam War. So, we have seen how the American system can operate. But coming back to the point, this is a difficult time for US, because I can tell you radicalization or extremism in terms of outlook, orientation and practices are affecting the whole world. I lived in the US since 87 up until 2009 in 3 different times. I've seen the US that I saw in 1987 during Reagan's time, the US that I left during Obama's time, and now what I am seeing is very difficult to really recognize how America has changed, how the US has changed. Now Americans, I mean that America, it's a highly polarized society. On the one side, Republican parties who are largely dominated by a kind of, if I may put it, white supremacist ideas, and on the other hand, the Democratic Party on the other side. So this election would not only be on political issues, it would also be on the cultural issues, what kind of America the Americans want to have. Their decision during the next election will decide the future of America, not for the next 4 years, for 4 decades perhaps. So it's an extremely important election which is coming in on November 5th. And as I have known the population there a little bit, my sense is that they will exercise their right of franchise judiciously. And perhaps as in India we have seen, the people of India have saved democracy in India. My sense is that this time the people of the United States will be able to save the democracy in the United States.
Mr. Sheikh Shahidul Islam. Just 1 minute.
You know, I tell you, quoting from Abraham Lincoln, he said that our forefathers brought forth a country conceived in liberty and dedicated to the proposition all men are created equal. If they adhere to these foundation of United States of America, I think they will vote judiciously. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sheikh Shahidul Islam, and thank you very much, Mr. Ambassador Humayun Kabir. Viewers, so we are about to end this talk show, and before ending the talk show, I have to summarize what the 2 giant speakers spoke here. Basically, Mr. Sheikh Shahidul Islam and Ambassador Humayun Kabir, both of them feel from the very bosom of the heart, that Bangladesh should go ahead in such a mood that our basic problems should be settled properly. And both of them of the same understanding that the quota protests took place in Bangladesh recently should have been settled in a more delicate way otherwise. And Mr. Sheikh Shahidul Islam, being a politician, he pointed categorically that political dialogue was necessary, but which did not appear in the picture because lack of initiative from the government level. Mr. Humayun Kabir also feels that government should take such initiative not only for the protesters but also for the generation in general, because so many frustrations, agonies, anxieties are in the very minds of the young generations who are coming up about the employment, about the future of Bangladesh. Everybody is worried and concerned. And we also feel that what happened, that happened. But what next? That is to be seen. And let us pray to Almighty Allah so that restoring of peace and tranquility dawn very soon in the political firmament of Bangladesh. And thank you very much. We will meet you again in the next talk show.